In the 1960s, soccer was no game for the hesitant. It was an arena without protection, without mercy, and the strikers were the most dangerous men on the field. They didn't just hunt goals, they hunted fear. Every run could be a judgment, every shot a career-destroying moment. This is the story of those attackers who still haunt defenders today, back then and now. Top 1, to Ferenc Puskás. In the early 1960s, Ferenc Puskás was more than just a striker. He was an unavoidable event. His left foot was considered deadly precise, not because of power, but because of control. Defenders knew his movements, studied his runs, and yet were helpless when the ball left his foot. Puskás played with calm, with vision, with a self-evidence that generated fear long before the shot came. What truly made him dangerous was his feel for the moment. He didn't need space, a run-up, or an opponent's mistake. He created it himself. A quick glance, half a step, and an entire defensive line lost its order. In an era full of toughness and raw tackles, Puskás was the silent executioner who didn't forgive mistakes. But after the noise came the void. Politics, exile, and a forced new beginning tore his career apart. Then he was Europe's nightmare. Now he is a legend whose story tells of both triumph and loss. People weren't afraid of his shot, they were afraid of his decision. Top 2, Alfredo Di Stefano. In the 1960s, Alfredo Di Stefano wasn't a classic striker. He was the game itself. He appeared everywhere. In midfield, on the wings, in the penalty box. Defenders lost sight of him because there was no fixed position to pin him down. Di Stefano forced entire defensive lines to abandon their order just to follow him, and that's exactly where their fear began. His true danger lay in total control. He decided not only how an attack ended, but when it began. With a single run, he pulled opponents out of position, opening spaces for others, or for himself. In an era where strikers were reduced to finishing, Di Stefano was the architect of chaos. But after the era of the white jersey, a void remained. Political conflicts, national allegiances, hidden power struggles determined his path as much as goals did. Then he was the heart of an unstoppable machine. Now he is the benchmark against which completeness is measured. You couldn't stop him, because you never knew where he'd be next. Top 3. Eusebio. In the 1960s, Eusebio was an unannounced explosion. His speed tore apart defensive lines. His power made tackles seem pointless. Defenders knew that distance was deadly, but so was proximity. Eusebio played with an intensity that silenced stadiums as soon as he accelerated the ball, and the space in front of him shrunk. His real danger lay in the combination of power and instinct. He didn't need a perfect assist. No clear window. One step, a body feint, and the shot came with brutal directness. In an era of tight man-marking, Eusebio was the striker who couldn't be held back because he sought contact, and won it. After the storm, the memory of a rarely seen fire remained. Then he was the embodiment of untamed attacking prowess, a nightmare in motion. Now he is the symbol of a time when talent didn't need permission to explode. You didn't have time to get scared, because the shot came before you could react. Top 4, Gerd Müller. In the late 1960s, Gerd Müller was the most brutal form of efficiency. He wasn't fast, not elegant, not intimidating at first glance. And that's exactly what made him so dangerous. Defenders underestimated him for a split second, and that moment was all it took. Müller lived in the penalty box, in spaces that didn't really exist, and turned chaos into goals. His true threat lay in instinct. Rebounds, deflected balls, lost tackles. Where others hesitated, Müller was already reacting. He didn't think, he acted. In an era of physical toughness, he was the hunter who never lost control, even when everything around him fell apart. But after the hunt, silence followed. Away from the goals, Müller struggled with himself, with a life without the sanctuary of the penalty box. Then he was Europe's deadliest finisher. Now his legacy remains untouchable. Goals without beauty, but with merciless truth. He didn't need a stage, just a mistake. Top 5, Jimmy Greaves. In the 1960s, Jimmy Greaves was the epitome of British cold-bloodedness. He moved lightly, almost playfully, but behind that elegance hid an instinct that disarmed defenders. Greaves didn't need body contact, No open space, a quick run, a clean first touch, and the ball was in the net. For defenders, he was dangerous because he seemed inconspicuous until it was too late. His true strength lay in timing. Greaves came not with force but with precision. He waited, read the opponent's movement, and appeared exactly where no one could react anymore. In an era of tough tackles, he was the striker who avoided the fight, and still won it. But behind the lightness hid fragility. Injuries, inner struggles, and missed moments changed his path. Then he was England's deadliest finisher. Now he remains a reminder that danger doesn't always have to be loud. He came quietly and scored before you noticed him. Top 6. José Altafini. In the 1960s, José Altafini was the perfect combination of two soccer worlds. Born in Brazil, shaped in Italy, he played with South American flair and Italian coolness in front of goal. Defenders struggled to categorize him. Too technical for a pure penalty box striker, too single-minded for an artist. Altafini didn't wait for chances, he provoked them. His danger lay in adaptability. He understood when patience was deadlier than speed. One step back, a quick touch, a precise finish. Altafini scored where order was supposed to reign. In the tactically ever stricter Serie A, he was the striker who showed that discipline and instinct are not mutually exclusive. After the big nights, a name remained that is often underestimated. Then he was a man of decisive goals, feared in Europe. Now he represents a generation of attackers who live between two identities and drew their strength precisely from that. He didn't need a rush, just the right moment. Top 7. George Best. In the late 1960s, George Best was pure unpredictability. He moved with the ball as if there were no rules, no lines, no order. Defenders faced him and knew, once he picked up speed, every decision was wrong. Best wasn't just a striker. He was a duel you'd already lost in your head before it even started on the field. His true danger lay in the instinct for humiliation. Best didn't just want to get past, not just to score, he wanted to show that he could do it. One too many feints, a burst of speed at the wrong moment, a shot from an impossible angle. In an era that demanded discipline, he was the disruptor who made systems look ridiculous and exposed defenders. But after the glory came the downfall. Fame, excesses, and loneliness devoured the talent that knew no bounds. Then he was every defense's nightmare, a genius in motion. Now he is the symbol that sometimes the greatest danger isn't the opponent, but yourself. You couldn't stop him. You could only watch him. They were no ordinary strikers. They were tests for entire defenses, moments of fear, names you couldn't get out of your head. The 1960s showed us that true danger isn't always loud. Sometimes it comes quietly, sometimes with chaos, sometimes with a single step at the wrong time. If these legends still haunt you today, then subscribe to the channel, like this video, and write in the comments which of these strikers was the most dangerous for you.